Today our topic is the Stoic approach to handling regret. Regret is something everyone feels at some point. It is that heavy feeling in your chest when you think about a mistake you made, a chance you missed, or a word you said that you wish you could take back. Regret can make you feel stuck, like you are trapped in the past. But the ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers us a way to handle regret that is both practical and empowering. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot change the past, but we can change how we think about it and how we move forward. The first thing to understand about regret is that it is a natural human emotion. Even the wisest and most experienced people feel regret sometimes. The problem is not the feeling itself, but how we let it control us. When we dwell on regret, we give it power over our present and future. We waste time and energy thinking about what could have been, instead of focusing on what we can do now. Stoicism tells us that we should accept the past as it is, without trying to rewrite it. This does not mean we should ignore our mistakes, or pretend they did not happen. It means we should learn from them, and then let them go. The past is outside of our control, but the present moment is ours to shape. One of the key ideas in Stoicism is the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot control. This is often called the dichotomy of control. When it comes to regret, we cannot control the actions we took or the decisions we made in the past. Those things are done, and no amount of thinking or wishing can change them. What we can control is how we respond to those actions and decisions. We can choose to learn from them, grow from them, and use them to make better choices in the future. This shift in perspective is powerful because it takes the focus away from what we cannot change and puts it on what we can change. Another important Stoic concept is the idea of focusing on the present moment. The Stoics believe that the present is all we truly have. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. By focusing on the present, we can live more fully and make better decisions. When we feel regret, we are often stuck in the past, replaying events in our minds and imagining different outcomes. But this does not help us. It only makes us feel worse. Instead, we should focus on what we can do right now to improve our lives and the lives of those around us. This does not mean we should never think about the past. Reflection can be valuable if it helps us learn and grow. But we should be careful not to let reflection turn into rumination. Rumination is when we get stuck in a loop of negative thoughts, going over the same regrets again and again without finding any resolution. The Stoics would advise us to reflect on our past actions with a sense of detachment, as if we were looking at someone else's life. This can help us see our mistakes more clearly and learn from them without being overwhelmed by guilt or shame. One way to practice this detachment is to ask ourselves, what would I say to a friend who was feeling this regret? Often we are much kinder and more forgiving to others than we are to ourselves. If a friend came to us and said they were struggling with regret, we would likely tell them that everyone makes mistakes, that they should learn from the experience and move on. We should try to extend this same kindness and understanding to ourselves. Another Stoic practice that can help with regret is the exercise of negative visualization. This involves imagining the worst-case scenario and then reminding ourselves that we can handle it. When we feel regret, we often focus on what we have lost or what we think we have lost. But if we take a step back and consider the bigger picture, we might realize that things are not as bad as they seem. For example, if you regret a missed opportunity at work, you might feel like your career is over. But if you imagine the worst-case scenario, losing your job entirely, you might realize that you would find a way to survive and even thrive in any situation. This exercise can help us put our regrets into perspective and remind us of our resilience. The Stoics also believed in the importance of accepting things as they are. This does not mean we should be passive or indifferent. It means we should recognize that some things are beyond our control, and that fighting against them only leads to frustration and pain. When it comes to regret, this means accepting that we cannot change the past. We can wish things had gone differently, but that wish will not change what happened. What we can do is accept the reality of the situation and focus on what we can do now. This acceptance is not easy, but it is freeing. It allows us to stop wasting energy on what we cannot change and start using that energy to create a better future. Another Stoic idea that can help with regret is the concept of Amor fati, which means love of fate. This is the idea that we should not only accept what happens to us, but also embrace it as part of our journey. Every experience, good or bad, shapes who we are. Even our mistakes and regrets have value, because they teach us lessons and help us grow. When we practice Amor fati, we stop seeing our regrets as failures and start seeing them as opportunities for growth. This shift in mindset can transform the way we think about our past and our future. Finally, the Stoics believed in the importance of virtue and living in accordance with nature. They taught that the goal of life is not to avoid pain or seek pleasure, but to live a life of wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. When we focus on these virtues, we can find meaning and purpose even in difficult times. Regret can be a teacher if we let it guide us toward becoming better people. Instead of letting regret drag us down, we can use it as a motivation to live more virtuously and make better choices in the future. In conclusion, the Stoic approach to handling regret is about shifting our focus from what we cannot change to what we can change. It is about accepting the past, learning from it, and then letting it go. It is about focusing on the present moment and using our energy to create a better future. It is about practicing self-compassion, putting our regrets into perspective, and embracing our experiences as part of our journey. And it is about living a life of virtue so that we can find meaning and purpose even in the face of regret. Regret is a part of life, but it does not have to control us. With the tools of Stoicism, we can handle regret in a way that is healthy, productive, and empowering.